Holy shit, that was loud. I think I just broke my chair. Fuck. Dude, I need to lose weight. That's when you know. Oh, all right. Okay. So, he's running mono blue with Earthshaker. This is kind of a trolly thing. We have to decide which lane we want to ignite. When in doubt, left lane is just a good lane to ignite. Goes right into the Kana, which feels maybe a little bit better because it's off in the lane he wants to contest as well. Earthshaker and Crystal Maiden are among the weaker heroes in the game. Crystal Maiden's actually kind of okay, but Earthshaker is just unadulterated garbage. What would you say are the tier 1 decks at the moment? A lot of different speeds of black-red, aggro, or zoo tempo are very efficient. And blue-green Salamina Storm is very powerful. I think there's other combo potential in something like blue-green, because you can play it with like a swarm ramp variant instead of storm. So again, deployment is probably the trickiest thing to keep in mind in Artifact, because you have to take a lot of things into account when you go for deployment. We want to play we want to play Unearthed Secrets this turn, and we kind of want to cast something off of our Zeus to deal his zappy damage thing, which means we kind of don't want to put her mid, right? Putting her left into a creep feels pretty good. Earthshaker will fuck up your swarm. Debatable. I mean, that happens in theory, but that's kind of like saying Slay counters Emissary. That also happens in theory, but the counterplay options are there. In reality, when we get to the 7-mana turn, he's not going to be playing anything, right?
Think Traxix.
So, Unearthed Secrets actually has a lot of synergy with Kana, because she's siphoning your melee creeps here, which kind of allows it to go off really reliably. These are pretty good draws. We have the early game tempo we want. And Lost in Time is going to be useful in this matchup. He's running a fairly trolly deck. Although, I guess a lot of people would say that about this deck. And what the fuck? Where are my D-portals? Did we lose? Shit.
We will cast down our enemies.
So the question is whether we ignite this lane or mid. Right now he has the swarm potential in both. We actually kind of want his mid to hit us because we have Unearthed Secrets. And this lane is better to defend because we've got Sanctum. I think this is fine. Are you planning to make some budget version deck like you did in Gwen? Yeah. No, I mean, I've already made some. I honestly should publish some budget decks. People have already kind of done that already with like the popper stuff.
15 seconds remaining.
I don't know. I've kind of been just streaming nonstop.
5 seconds remaining.
Maul could actually be good.
2.
So we're at 5 mana here. We want to open up blue casting options on all lanes. His Ogre is being killed on upkeep, which means his Earthshaker presumably wants to go left. Our Ogre wants to go right in case he also ignites us and kills our Luna in the same way. He hasn't done it yet, but he's in a position where he easily could. Make budget decks. If you guys want after this game, I can take a minute and pull up some budget decks for you guys. Because I have them in the deck builder. I just haven't like posted them on Artifact Fire yet. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure the best way to build a few different budget decks. A budget black-red would be probably your best bet. You could go pretty far with that if you just want to win games. It's pretty good at any cost. Zeus can compel into Luna to kill her off of Satyr Magician. See what he does here. He doesn't have any health items, which is real. Why does he have 17 gold? I mean, he did just get a lot from that.
I have something special in store for you. Allow me to beguile your senses.
I don't think I needed to play more elsewhere.
And for my next trick.
So we can just maul to kill the Luna, and then we can compel to save our Zeus. Feels pretty good. Is saving our Zeus worth it? I mean, we lose a goat, right? Goats are nice. What does Zeus do, really? That goat. He might have his own compiler cutting plan at this point. I mean, he's at full mana. The odds of him having something are very high. And Unadulterated Secrets is just nuts in this deck. In other decks, it has some opportunity to fall off, but he's playing for initiative still. Or does he actually just have nothing to play? I mean, we have nothing to play. $18 gold. So one of the skills you can do in Artifact is you can track the opponent's gold values. We need the Hourglass here. Stonehold Plate actually would have found a decent situation, but Hourglass is too important to buy first. So I haven't really been talking about this out loud on this stream yet, but let's go ahead and watch the opponent's gold. We can see that here's 18 gold in hand. And we can see the items that he's about to buy. They're not showing up in hand yet. So give it a second and we'll be able to basically track effectively what he's bought. This is one thing you're going to have to do every turn if you want to play this game optimally. So 18 gold, buying one item for 10, right? Because he's down to 8 and he has this gold boarded card in his hand, which means it's an Hourglass. There it is there. So in this situation, this information is useless to us. There are a lot of situations, however, where knowing he had an Hourglass would matter. Because you'll play very differently based on what you expect your opponent to have, whether it's a health item or whatever. So you really like the ability to Lost in Time here. It would be probably most neat if you can have initiative while doing it. Unfortunately, that is impossible. And we're dealing a bit of siege damage with that maul. It feels nice.
Just getting started.
There's just no reason to pray here.
Make the most intriguing things.
So we're looking at a pretty good Eclipse, but presumably he'll do something that prevents this from working. Not honestly the best Annihilation. I'm not really too afraid of that. So he's hitting the turn where he's really coming online. Eclipse, Earthshaker's Echo Slam, and Zeus's Thunder God's thing. We're all starting to be pretty good on these turns. I don't mind getting an early maul. In general, in Artifact, you want to build your items. Just a bunch of cheap items and like a Blink Dagger. That's a good item deck. So our Eclipse right now is only at 5 charges. We have the potential for Annihilation on the left side if he plays some kind of overcommitment. We really have to guess where he's putting these heroes. I kind of expect Earthshaker to go mid. If we Annihilate left, we're losing initiative over here. Or if we play Drow, we're opening ourselves up to Mist. Or sorry, Gust. Gust plus Mist. We don't really have great play options here. I mean, he's not going to give us a terribly good Annihilate.
15 seconds remaining.
We just don't want to overcommit to this lane.
5 seconds remaining.
If I was him, I probably would have swapped the Luna and the Earthshaker's positions. So he has Earthshaker's active up. This is Fissure. It's not great. It's okay. Our Eclipse at 5 charges will basically take care of this board very well. So you can see here the fact that Ignite comes down, Eclipse comes down. This is a really big deal. And this is part of what you have to play around if you're him. This is why, I mean, this is part of the reason why it should have been Luna going left instead of Earthshaker. Luna likes going left just because Lucent Beam wants to trigger as early as possible. Fissure would have been good here, and you have to be playing around the math on Eclipse when you're deploying, right? You have to really think about these things ahead of time. I don't know if there's a better Demagicking Maul than just starting to put pressure on this tower.
I'll use this well.
I honestly like the preemptive cloak. We're gonna have to start playing around tools like Thunder God's Wrath, his Eclipse, and she looks really tanky. She's got 12, but we actually want her more tanky than that. It's pretty important. So this is a phenomenal example of why Earthshaker is a bad card that did very little for 7 mana. Don't play Earthshaker. Jesus Christ. What the hell? Okay. So I guess we're just solving up our Zeus. There's honestly not too much to do here. I don't really want to play Prey on the Weak or something. So we have now the option for Arcane Assault if we want Initiative on the right side. Initiative on the right side isn't bad.
Appreciated.
It's important to keep in mind, if we take the Assault here, I mean, we can Gust him here, lock him out of options, and then even develop a Mist of Avernus. But then we're giving up Initiative again on the left side on this lane next turn. I think this is actually worth it. Just slowing down his roll here. We're not going to be using all of these Gusts. Arcane Assault is kind of this good card, though. It's too valuable in the blue mirror to be able to steal Initiative on demand. We have to keep it. Gusting this doesn't really do anything. I mean, what's he going to do? Echo Slam us again? It's cheeky. So Obliterating Orb is kind of a tech call. Presumably this guy's trying to play around the Storm deck.
There's a reason I'm alive.
Easier to smash.
I'm not going anywhere.
Give up Initiative to keep our Drow healthy. I think that's fine. Right now, Initiative is not really that useful. We've been talking about how Initiative is kind of this crazy important thing in this game, and it's important at the same time to identify that there are going to be situations where some players will play for Initiative too much, and they'll underdevelop their value by passing too early for Initiative.
15 seconds remaining.
So against AoE things like Echo Slam and Zeus, it's really important to just kind of stockpile these health options. Earthshaker and Zeus and Luna as well all lose a lot of value when we can keep our units outside of the range on these. So he has Initiative. Crystal Maiden is in all likelihood going to be deploying left. So we have to be wary of playing into something like maybe an Echo Slam or more likely an Annihilation on the left side. We just want to develop our presences as evenly as possible while still playing around Eclipse. Right. Now we have Initiative on middle lane, which is really important. I think that's going to kind of change how things go. Normally, we wouldn't want to develop this right into the Eclipse range, but since we have guaranteed Initiative here off of Arcane Assault, which we've preserved unless he also has his own Arcane and takes the pass first, we're going to be in a good position here. I think this is fine deployment. I mean, honestly, there's so much that goes into the decision-making on hero deployments in this game. Pretty much every game that gets lost, you can kind of trace back to missteps in hero deployment. So if I'm him, there's not really great plays. We didn't overcommit this lane into either Annihilation or Echo Slam. These creeps don't even die to Echo Slam.
Oh, I was just getting more.
And he's given up Initiative for Ignite. So it's very possible the reason he's done that is because he feels secure in the ability to reclaim Initiative with Arcane Assault. That's kind of what I'm reading from this. Normally, we would maybe do the same thing. I mean, we can play our cards out, we can Sanctum, we can play, Prey on the Weak, then we can play Arcane Assault. But because I think he has an Arcane Assault in hand, I'm just going to take a pass. I think he's going to try to steal Initiative back with Arcane Assault here, and I'm just going to do the same thing. What the heck? Is he actually leaving? This is kind of weird. Okay. Alright. Never mind. So we have Thunder God's Wrath plus Arcane Assaults. Can't play it for this lane. So we have to decide exactly what we want to do here. We need initiative in the middle lane to be able to wipe him out. But at the same time, we can only really play one of these lanes for initiative. He's going to get a pretty good eclipse wherever we don't play for initiative. So we have to choose to effectively give up one of the two lanes.
3, 2, 1.
I think we can force out an eclipse. It's a weird situation. There's no way to play for initiative on both lanes, so he'll always get an eclipse on one. I think just killing the Crystal Maiden here is fine. There's nowhere else we want this Kana to be. I think the most important thing about this decision is it's actually good to give up initiative on mid. So he gets the Eclipse of his dreams, both of these heroes die, but it's better to give up mid as a lane, because we have the Unearthed Secrets, which is drawing us more cards. But most importantly, the way we capitalize off of initiative right is less committal as a resource for us, right? We're using Gust here.
I'll make it quick. Be silent.
And now he's stuck. So a few things that are really important about this play. If we had done it the other way around, if we preserve initiative for mid, we use Eclipse instead of Gust, and then he blows us up here instead.
I'm basically
we
one
want
eighth
to
gay.
keep the Eclipse
Easy
in hand,
from France.
which
X.
makes this a better play. Now we can develop some more of our just kind of swarm tools. We have the ability to play for Arcane Assault as well. Let's go ahead and Sanctum up here. We've actually got some great plays. So he doesn't have the Obliterating Orb in hand. It's very important to track that because we know he runs it. So we are going to be able to Arcane Assault for value here. But first we got to get these damn green cards out of our hand. So we can try to draw more, but at this point in the game, it's better to take the additional Mist of Avernus. We'll commit this here. And we have initiative, so this is fine to play out. This is actually a really powerful play. So now we can leave this lane with Town Portal Scroll on our Drow. So this is actually an important play because this is going to save his ogre's life. We want this ogre to stay alive. He doesn't have any health items in hand, and it's dying next turn to our Ignite. So by keeping this ogre on his side of the board alive for an additional turn, we're actually keeping it dead for an additional turn. This will die to the upkeep on our Ignite next turn. We can watch that happen. Now we can take the Arcane Assault after all of that, stealing back initiative. If we're lucky, we'll get a clone on it out of ogre. Pass for initiative back to the left side. We have the Drow coming in that we TP'd out with the Gust to stop any of his blue shenanigans from happening. So it's really important that we played this entire turn pretty much exactly as we did. I don't think I need more cards, right? The fact that we gave up initiative for the mid lane to reclaim initiative for right is a much more powerful turn than if we do it the other way around. So now, if we want to play around the idea of one of the blue heroes coming here, then we can put the Drow here for Gust. We have 6 Eclipse charges. Yeah, I think we just have to put the Drow here. There's nothing better to do with this. Wow. So this is probably the proper play from him. He's not forcing out our Gust by doing this, and forcing out our Gust does have value for him.
I've been given the means for revenge.
Yeah, this is a tricky situation. We have initiative to be able to blow up the Zeus, right? I mean, we're just Thunder Godsing, right?
15 seconds remaining.
We do lose the opportunity to play off of our Drow if we Thunder Gods here, though. Are we Thunder Godsing? Thunder Gods kind of blows here, right?
5 seconds remaining. 3, 2.
You obviously don't know
Dude, Blue Mirrors hurt my brain. Well, he's not playing for initiative. But he's in a situation where I think he has to play something mid. So if I pass for initiative here, I think it's too important just to develop my green cards while I even have the opportunity. Mist of Avernus still has a lot of powerful potential. And with such a scary left lane, normally you can't 80 against blue, but because we have Gust in such a scary left lane, we're in a good position. If we want to, we can blink our Drow out. She's not really doing anything on the other lanes, though. It's not as if we can take a Gust. All we're doing is opening him up to AoE options, I think. just take the pass. We want the Drow to stay here for Gust. So he needs a way to be able to lethal this tower. He wants to use D portal here for this. Okay, Incarnation makes this matchup a lot scarier. It's possible we actually lose this. Because we're not really running a finisher in the same way that he is. Our deck is more geared around trying to develop presence early. What the hell? How many compels did he just play? Jesus. Okay. That's not actually that scary. We're going to have to really respect this lane later, though. So, we draw 2 cards. It's very important that on the right side, we have the Sanctum, because this will allow us to nuke this board while at the same time playing for initiative. So, we want to do something about right. We want to do something about this. We need to steal initiative for left next turn. I don't think he's going to be able to lethal us.
Seconds remaining.
We're getting really slowed down, though. This is starting to become committal eclipses to use. We've got good potential to draw into our last one. However, a bit of an issue is that he does have the Hourglass. Hourglass is a really good card.
It's not a rock. Bile!
So we don't need to take a blink at this point. We've got the initiative off of Arcane Assaults. Really wish we had the other Sanctum here to be able to play left. I mean, we've got Gust for left. And if we have access to the 3rd Gust, we should just win the game off that. This actually looks like a really good potion of knowledge. We actually need to draw into our last Gust and our last Eclipse here. So we want to go mid for the ability to Annihilate. We want to play around his Eclipse as much as possible. If we develop both heroes mid and he has the initiative, he doesn't have any initial damage. It takes a total of 7 charges to kill both of our heroes, but his Eclipse is going to exactly 7 charges this turn. We have guaranteed initiative mid off of our assaults, which means all we have to do is develop 1 hero mid for Annihilation. There's no way he can get it back, which means the hero we want to develop elsewhere is the one we probably want to just be ending the game with. We don't want to sacrifice the Hourglass, which means the Zeus goes right. His Crystal Maiden might be going right, though.
15 seconds remaining.
He'll lose the game if he does that, I think. So, we have initiative. He needs to blow us up on the right side. And we have the ability to reclaim initiative after everything is said and done. So right now, this left lane is really scary. If we pass, annihilate him mid, if he answers our right, which he has to with something like Annihilation or Eclipse, as soon as he does that, we have initiative for left lane next turn, and we'll just punch him and win, right? Does this mean we don't need Arcane Assault?
Seconds remaining.
It should be fine, right? Just save the Gust. Easy. Whee. So again, initiative has this... I mean, initiative is really what this game is all about. Because it kind of joins the lanes together. And now we can potion while we don't have initiative anyway. Because it kind of goes back and forth, right? We use initiative, it kind of alternates lane to lane. Now he has initiative, and if he wants to blow us up, he will pretty much lose initiative by doing this. He needs Arcane Assault here to steal it back. It's the only way he can stay in the game. And ultimately, so much of the game can come down to this kind of final exchange of initiative. If he has Arcane Assault, he may win here. Might have been an overcommitment left. Looks like he doesn't have the assaults.
Bringing him back up.
I mean, there's no way he can take this tower. He needs 11 more damage. That's just not happening. His deck compared to ours lacks a lot of damage without Mist of Avernus or Zhao. Have a look at this lane. Just take a peek. Look at these attack values. And this is just something his deck can't do without Zhao. We're just going to keep passing for initiative. Basically, the name of the game is as long as we have initiative left, we can't lose. Okay, and we're good. So he deploys both lefts. I mean, at this point, you just have to assume we don't have it. And of course we do. These are the situations for which Gust is classified as a pretty neat card. Oh, what are these arrows though, huh?
My power only grows.
So do I hit people with it?
No, we wear it.
I guess I could summon some doggies, right? He doesn't have orb here.
There's always a price you pay for power. The weak must be strong.
Okay, we're good. That was definitely closer than I think it should have been. I don't know, there's so many decision-making points in this game. We definitely could have tightened up our play a little bit. It's always very, very hard, especially in blue mirrors. Because there's always just minor optimizations you could do. We're 4-0 with this deck so far. It's definitely a stronger deck than I think he was running. But honestly, it's not perfect. We're not really running top end. I don't think we can. We can't run Salamania in a deck like this. It just needs to be built a little bit different.